You're watching Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram High School Hoops, presented by Andy Citron Injury Attorneys.
Dwayne Lewis, and there's an interesting dynamic between the two coaches. Ty McCants played for Dwayne Lewis at Pine Forest, graduated back in 2009. So
it's always interesting when a former player is going against his old coach. Open three.
That's Suarez. Micah Suarez hits the three. And Washington with a 4-0 lead.
And putting that press on, too.
Ball knocked out of bounds, lost out of bounds. It'll stay with the Wildcats.
So the pressure is creating turnovers. 2 presses, 2 turnovers so far. It's a mighty fine result at 100% if you're Washington. It's actually 100% either way. The math doesn't change.
No matter who you are.
Exactly.
That's 100%. It's the immutable laws of math.
Exactly. Nice look.
Suarez with it down low, and Banks loses it out of bounds.
Tried to throw it off the Pine Forest defender, which he did, but then ultimately hit him last.
Pine Forest, we really didn't have a chance to set this one up, almost turning it over, but coming out of there with it and then losing it eventually is Robert Ward, and Washington coming the other way and drawing the foul.
That's 3 turnovers for Pine Forest here, not even 3 minutes into the game.
And another foul on Quan Calvert. Wow. So he was their best player last night in his varsity debut, and he just picked up 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes of this game.
So, Dan, do you happen to know, you mentioned last night was his debut. Did he start that game?
I don't know if he started that game.
You come out, though, and you lead the whole team in scoring. You start the next night, which is what's happened here tonight.
Well, there were a couple things. It was Ty McCann's not been happy with the intensity of this team this year. And, the defensive intensity just hasn't quite been there. They haven't had the edge, and it created some of the issues they've had coming into tonight's game with a 6-7 record. They really expected to be better. DeCarrion McWilliams, who really ran the show and set the tone for them, football star for Pine Forest, left the team after Christmas, and just to focus pretty much on football, looking at getting some college opportunities in that sport. And McCann said he was stunned by the decision, and it's got to have an effect. There's Ward from the corner. That's off the mark.
Wide open, too. He's going to need to knock that down. That is as good a look as you'll get.
That's Banks, Antoine Banks, and he'll take it back out front. Good defensive effort there by Clarity. Is in the ball game now. Jalen Clarity. He sat out last night's game. Coach's decision. They talked about he's their leading scorer, Jalen Clarity.
Washington slowing it down now, setting the offense. I like it.
Banks down the lane and draws the foul. Antoine Banks really setting a tone early in this game. And that foul is on Jalen Clarity. McCann did shake up his starting lineup, starting the sophomore Calvert, who I don't believe started last night. Vel Bradley starting. Javion Mobley, sophomore, 6'8", wears number 11. He started tonight along with Amarian Turner. And then Damaris Harris. That was the starting lineup, but now Jalen Clarity, number 4, their leading scorer, who would normally be a starter, and Zoe Turner, number 5, came off the bench in a hurry. So the message was sent. They didn't start, but they're in there now.
Pine Forest running a 2-3 zone defense. That'll set up some open looks.
Marlon Jarvis misses the short jumper. Defensive pressure a little bit. Got the turnover. There he goes, Banks. Blocked nicely by Bryant, Jalen Bryant.
Hard take from Banks, looked good, but Bryant was there.
Down low again. And a foul called again. Again, defensive pressure, but again, the whistle on the foul. And that one would be Zoe Turner.
Still just 4 points in the game, more than halfway through the quarter.
Now low blocked again by Bryant. The shot by Eldrick Robinson down low, and Bryant at 6'3" rejected it. And they might have gotten a piece of the ball at that end. It might have been Suarez or Robinson.
It was Robinson with the come from behind. Terrific defensive play there to get the block from behind.
All right, here comes some pressure from Pine Forest.
Trying to turn the tables on Washington, been pressing them all night.
Well, this was the team they had last year. The type of, they put on the pressure, they trapped, they forced turnovers, and they tried to do it in a disciplined way where they, would get the turnovers without getting in foul trouble, without giving up easy baskets. And it just hadn't worked out this year.
I really like Washington's offense. Very patient, moving the ball around a lot.
Yeah, and they are an extraordinarily young team.
Part of the game plan may clearly be, let's slow it down. Pine Forest is very athletic. Let's not run with them.
And that ball was first picked up and then turned over by the Nigel McCracken, who doesn't normally get a ton of time, but nice job on the boards and gets it outside, and Clarity launches the 3. That's off the mark.
Suarez did not have to make that shot so tricky.
And Jalen Bryant hit the J and got Pine Forest on the board. Took a while to do it. In the final 2 minutes of the first quarter. Pass to the high post, and down the lane goes the sophomore, and Mason McManus drew the foul. So that foul is goes to McCracken. Mason McManus off the mark, 46% free throw shooter on the year. Again, that's an area that Washington has really struggled this year.
Interesting form there, too. See that? Kind of over the head, almost like a soccer inbounds pass. Check this out.
That's not working.
Nope. That's true, man. Oh.
But then gets back and blocks the shot. Nice defensive play.
He says, "Is that working?"
How do you like that?
How does he hear us? That's what I want to know. It's impressive.
All right, into the lineup. Back into the lineup is Javion Mobley for Pine Forest.
Great play there. Love it.
As McCracken comes out, so McCracken gave him a rest. So go to the line is Antoine Banks, senior. He's a good free throw shooter, 68%. And 0 for 3 from the line of the Wildcats.
This has the makings of a low-scoring game. Both teams are averaging under 50 a game, and very late in the first, just 4-2.
Juwan Savage, your favorite name, is in the ball game now, replacing Kachaz Alfred, my favorite name.
That's pretty good too, honestly. We may have a tie.
All right, the Andy Citron free throw's on the way. That needs a bounce and doesn't get it.
1 for 6 on the night for the Wildcats. Free throw shooting for now 3 games we've done has been an issue for almost every game.
In the major sports, it really should be one of the easiest. What a pass.
Yes.
What a look from Zoe Turner.
And he finishes it.
Three-pointer by Juwan Savage. What a pass from Turner.
I want Turner to get 1 of the 3 points. I think that's fair.
And just like that, Pine Forest is on top 5-4. How can you go 6 minutes without scoring at the start of the game and lead a minute and a half later?
That's a strong take there. And I mean your point, not that take to the hoop.
25 seconds to go. Clarity.
Boom.
Well, this is a dangerous little stretch for Washington. If it gets in this kind of a tempo, it does not suit them. And that's a travel. On the spin move, turning it over was Marlon Jarvis, the sophomore. And there's a turnover again, carrying the ball. 9 seconds to go in the quarter. Here's Clarity, number 4. Does he look 100% healthy, or? Actually, maybe a little bit of a hobble there.
Tries to get a steal.
Yeah, he made a.
Nearly does.
Yeah. And commits the foul. With 7.9, a foul in the backcourt trying to make a steal. Yeah, it looked like he came up with a little bit of a limp after hitting the jumper and then making a defensive play, but that's a bad foul in the backcourt. And going to the free throw line for Washington is Kamarcus Johnson, and he has really struggled from the line this year. He's now 3 for 14 from the line.
Oh, that's a great play. Ooh. But out on Washington. Heck of an effort there, though. So 5 seconds.
Clarity, a step back 30-footer. Well, we played 8 minutes of basketball here at Pine Forest, and the Eagles, with a 7-0 run to finish the quarter, take a 7-4 lead into the first quarter timeout.
You wanna try me, you wanna try me, you wanna try, you wanna try, you wanna try me, you wanna try me, well here it go. You wanna try me, well here it go.
Okay, they can't stop what they can't hold, can't rock what they can't go.
All right, we played 8 minutes of basketball. It's a 3-point game. Pine Forest leading Washington 7-4. The Wildcats scored 4 points right out of the gate on a free throw and a 3-pointer. And then Pine Forest scored the final 7 points of the quarter. Washington had their chances, but they missed their last 5 free throws, including the front end of 3 1-on-1s. Down the lane, trying to challenge inside, but
Oh, good play.
that's going to be a nice job by Zoe Turner knocking it loose. Washington may have some issues scoring inside against that Pine Forest presence. And Javion Mobley, the 6'8" sophomore inside, was ready to reject anything that came his way.
Boy, if you're a coach, 6'8" sophomore, those are 3 sweet words. Here's Suarez, who hit a 3 earlier in the game.
They've got to get him going. He is their best offensive option for Washington, wearing number 30. There he is.
Handles the ball well, too.
Nice shot getting it to Banks, but again, the presence of Mobley, and Banks forced the shot up, and a foul on whom? That foul's going to be on Banks. Yeah, frustrated inside and commits the foul.
So Washington briefly, well, first part of the first quarter there, put a lot of pressure. They pulled back, did not do that here. It was very effective. Kind of surprised they pulled away from it. Another bad foul.
See, it's the body, Marlon Jarvis, a sophomore, and these are the kinds of things, you know, Washington. There are a lot of seniors on this team, but a number of them, Eric Thomas and Sean Davis, 2 seniors, they just came out this year. So really, as far as the heart of the team is concerned, it's a pretty young ball club. Banks is a senior, number 2, but R.J. Heelman, number 4, is also a senior. Byron Gregory's not playing tonight. He's injured. We lost him for a while with a torn ligament in his wrist, so he's out. So they're going with they've got a lot of sophomores, 3 sophomores and a freshman on this varsity lineup.
Nice.
A nice jumper there by Deshaun Palmore. Palmore scores his first basket, and he's capable of filling it up. He has a couple of 20-point games this year.
Resetting it up, love it.
Banks, the senior, out front.
Banks, so far, a lot of aggressive play and nothing to show for it.
Suarez for 3. Whistle away from the ball, and they're going to keep it at this end of the floor.
That's a good look for Suarez, though. As you said, biggest offensive threat. Already hit a 3. That was a wide open 3.
Juan Savage called for the foul. Essentially what he did is after Suarez launched the 3, he went to block him off the boards and wrap the arms around.
Yeah.
Suarez, a 67% free throw shooter, ends the skid from the line with that free throw. 2 out of 8 now from the line of the Wildcats.
Ooh.
Yeah, the secret to that is to get Suarez there. He has 5
of their 6. Washington running a 1-3-1 zone defense. And again, those zone Ds, you move the ball enough, you can get a good open 3. Open ones. Got to hit it.
Banks with the runner. And the rebound pulled down. Nice strong rebound in there by Juwan Savage.
Banks very aggressive. Just can't get the ball to go in the hoop.
That's the pass, finding Clarity. On the offensive boards and a three-point opportunity for Ozell Purifoy, the freshman. He is the cousin of little Mama Purifoy, who had such a great game in the first game of our doubleheader. And Ozell goes to the line with a chance for a three-point play.
It's a great weak side offensive rebound, puts it right back up, gets fouled, and all of a sudden, they've doubled up Washington.
And we will take the timeout. It is now it's a 20-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. We'll go ahead and take the timeout with him. Timeout on the court, 12-6 Pine Forest.
You're watching Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram High School Hoops, presented by Andy Citron Injury Attorneys.
Pine Forest has opened a 12-6 lead on Washington here early in the second quarter. And as play resumes, it'll be Washington inbounding against some full court pressure from the Eagles. Suarez to key it in. And the trap, throw it into the corner, that's always going to come. And a blocking foul in the backcourt, that's going to be on Clarity.
Banks taking that one on his own, breaking that trap. It's a good, powerful move. When you can dribble through or step through a trap, you can quickly create an opportunity, and that's what he was trying to do there.
Banks has really taken over ball handling duties as well. You know, we mentioned that Washington not only is young as Banks missed the first free throw, but
can't believe he missed it either. Just that reaction. He was shocked that he missed that free throw.
But there are injuries that Washington is dealing with. Byron Gregory, a senior, tore a ligament in his wrist. He is out. Not sure how long he's going to be out. Missed them both. Rebound pulled down. Strong rebound pulled down by Amarian Turner, the 6'4" sophomore.
Nice pass there.
Again, some nice young athletes here with the Eagles. Rebound pulled away by Eric Thomas. Terrific football player for Washington. Senior, 6'4".
And what a year they had.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a Washington basketball team. Didn't win a game a year ago. They've won 3 so far this year. And, you know, Thomas is part of that great football turnaround. You wonder if maybe that can kind of feed into this basketball program, trying to turn things around as well.
When he tells you you can do it, he knows from where he speaks, you know? He was a big part of that. Gosh, what a story that was in the fall.
6-point ball game. Pine Forest turns it away. It was going to the high post. And Amarian Turner wasn't looking for it. Vel Bradley whipped it right past him.
It will give the Eagles a chance to get in that press. Who I thought he might have traveled.
Okay, that's Braden Lambert with the ball, and the ball's turned over. Knocked loose by Turner.
And that is a careless pass from Banks.
And out of bounds to Washington. Boy, they dodged a bullet there.
Yep. Very powerful way to break a press break is pump fakes. You know, act like you're going to throw high, then turn it into a bounce pass, or vice versa. People will always jump and create those opportunities. That's another turnover.
Again, bad turnover by Washington. Kamarcus Johnson throws it away. That's going to be a foul and a three-point chance for Amarian Turner.
That was a little too easy. He was completely uncontested down there. Look at this, just left alone, 8 feet from the basket. Does a nice job finishing the shot.
Foul on Eric Thomas. Turner, one of the guys who Ty McCants is hoping to see a little more consistent performance out of. He's a sophomore and he just has a few things to learn along the way. What's this all about?
He stepped on the line.
Washington stepped on the sideline. 14-6, Pine Forest with the 8-point lead. Washington, after scoring the first 4 points of the game, it's a 14-2 Pine Forest run. Some poor free throw shooting by Washington has certainly contributed to that. And Pine Forest's defensive pressure has maybe sped up the clock a little bit on the Wildcats as well, once they do get into the front court. That's Lambert.
Here comes Banks.
Good patience this time. And Lambert
There you go.
crosses the timeline.
He had a guy open too.
And Suarez, will he go to the line?
Two shots.
Yep, that foul is called on Vel Bradley. Suarez goes to the line to shoot 2. He's 2 for 2 from the line tonight.
So he's got 6 of their 7. Eldrick Robinson with the other one.
One out of 2, but Lambert runs it down. And a foul called. Was that on Bradley again, 21? Lambert goes to the free throw line. 68% on the year.
That looks nice.
He is the guy they wanted. He's the one they look to against the zone. They need a shooter hitting outside shots. That's a guy they look for.
Got it. Well, it looked like that on that release. Pure shot.
So a couple trips to the free throw line here, 4 seconds apart. Yeah, just when Washington really needed something good to happen. It could be a 3. It is a 3-point trip down the floor.
And it'll be a double bonus for Washington for the remainder of the second quarter. So they're going to get 2 free throws each foul.
Long 3.
Boom.
Yeah, never in doubt.
How about that?
Kachaz Alfred. You hit a 3 that long, I'm sure there's a punchline in there somewhere.
That is Garmin-like range from Alfred. Great dish. Woo! 5 quick points there. Ten-point deficit. Now the press really on.
Lambert out of the backcourt, gets it into the front court to Suarez. He looked like he was going to take it back outside, try to make the move, but the defense is there. Lambert launches the 3, that's off the mark. Long 3 from Banks.
Good effort there. Appreciate that from Eric Thomas.
Eric Thomas, well, there you go. That's about what you've come to expect from watching him in the fall and here tonight. 19-9, Pine Forest lead.
Yeah, this thing turned to 10 pretty quickly.
One on the way, that's well off the mark.
You know, you mentioned the athleticism. Pine Forest is literally just jumping over and reaching over their backs and pulling balls down. And I don't mean they're fouling. It's legit, but the size difference is a big problem for Washington.
Kachaz Alfred committing the foul. And so Eldrick Robinson will go back to the line.
I've got Washington at 6 for 17 from the free throw line tonight.
Been on the offensive boards and scoring is Eric Thomas. That's a big play by Thomas.
Yeah.
All the points Washington has left at the free throw line here in the first half. They're down by 8.
Yep.
You know, Dwayne Lewis, who coached here at Pine Forest, and
Yeah,
at Woodham, and now at Washington. And he's talking about this team, this young team, well, the young players he has. They took their lumps last year when they decided, hey, we're going to go young. Nice move by Suarez, and Eric Thomas is there to follow. Nice follow.
So Eric Thomas, a little bit of a spark right now.
Yeah, more than a little.
A bit of a spark right now.
A lot. But Lewis is talking about this team just needs to learn how to do the things that you need to do to win. Part of that is taking advantage of your scoring chances from the free throw line.
Yeah.
And Thomas just making plays happen.
So Washington has, I believe, missed 11 free throws and finds himself down 6. That's not a bad place to be. Ooh. Great defensive play in anticipation there.
And that's Purifoy.
Everything about
Purifoy. And it's a huge play because Washington has the ball and a chance to make really a legitimate run to get back in this thing. Suarez.
Oh, mercy.
Thomas kept it alive and going to the line. Ty McCann says his hands behind his head in frustration on the foul.
It's a good-looking take from Suarez. Couldn't get it to fall.
Joseph Carroll, the transfer from East Bruton, attended W.S. Neal. An athletic kind of guy, hits the boards, gets some work done for you in transition. He'll go to the line and gets that one to roll in. Nice job.
A much-needed free throw make for the Wildcats.
Carroll hits them both. Yeah,
yeah.
38% from the line. We out 3 for 8. So
not
that can change in a hurry.
Yeah, not a huge. Those percentages.
Just like that, he's a 50% shooter.
Exactly. Before the end of the night, he'll be the premier free throw shooter in town.
Nice rebound, but then lost and going to the line with a 3-point chance. Great play by Ozel Purifoy. Playing his second varsity game after his call-up.
He's already converted 1 3-point play tonight. A chance to do it again right now.
How good he must have been on JV. That's great athleticism, awareness, and a 3-point play.
I'm thinking about the Purifoy driveway games with he and his cousin.
Yeah, no kidding. My money's on his cousin.
She is incredible. I can't get over how good she is.
Well, they really are. And we saw it, how much fun that basketball team is to watch. Pine Forest girls. And inside McManus. And he threw his right arm out.
Wow.
Called an offensive foul. Wow.
Let's see that again here.
See,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, put the right arm.
Yeah,
Yep.
sure
yeah,
did.
He initiated the contact there, and drawing the foul was Damaris Harris.
Touche.
Good call.
Yeah.
That wasn't really an obvious easy call. It was a good one.
Yep.
All right, Pine Forest with a 9-point lead here with 20 seconds to go in the half. And is that an illegal screen or running through the screen? Running through the screen, R.J. Heelman is called. Heelman coming off a thigh injury, so that's exactly what you want, is to run into a tough screen.
Right.
Coming off a thigh injury. He was the starting point guard before he went out with a thigh injury. Great floor leader, R.J. Heelman, senior. And rebound hits the floor.
It. Look at that. Washington all out of shot and just looked at it. That looked like a double dribble. Oh, my.
And 3-point opportunity. Great job on hitting the boards. That's Kachez Alfred. There you get a good view of Kachez.
Pine Forest been finishing some plays tonight, getting fouled, and under 10 seconds to go.
3-point play. Wow.
And a half, too. Yeah, that's a big moment. Just like that at the 12-point game.
Yeah, this has been it's been a tough final minute or so for Washington. Yeah. They had it down 6, and they're inbounding the ball. And that's going to be picked off easily by Damaris Harris. And that'll do it for the first half. Pine Forest with a nice little run at the end of the half. 6 straight points in the final minute or so. A couple of three-point, old-fashioned three-point plays to do it, and forcing some turnovers along the way. So we're at the half here in game 2 of our doubleheader. Pine Forest leading Washington 27-15. Washington scored the first 4 points of the game. Pine Forest scored the next 9, and back and forth we've gone since then. Pine Forest with the 12-point lead at intermission as the Eagles lead Washington 27-15 on Hill Kelly High School hoops.
But yeah, I did participate in sports. I went to Pensacola High School, as a matter of fact, back in the 60s. Played baseball for Fred Waters, who's a well-known baseball coach around here. Teamwork, that's the main thing that's to be learned from team sports. And nobody can do anything on their own. You need somebody to help you. And that's a great lesson to learn for anybody in life.
It is halftime here. Pine Forest leading Washington 27-15 at the half. It was 7-4 after the first quarter. And then Pine Forest on a 20-11 second quarter to open up the 12-point lead. And Christian, we were just talking about it. Washington 8 for 19 from the free throw line, and 3. They missed the front end of 3, 1 and 1.
Yeah, so those are 3 more they've left on the floor. So that comes into 42%. On the year, they're shooting 50%. And they've got 15 total points. So as lousy as that's the bulk of their points, more than half of their 15 coming from the charity stripe. So, you know, if you want to give it a glass is half full, if you're Washington, all that, and you're still down 12. And until the last 2 minutes of that half, it was closer than that.
Dwayne Lewis, the Washington coach, talked about learning how to win, and he knew that as far as the core of this team, the guys he's depending on, he's been playing with them for a couple of years, or last year and this year. They were a very young team a year ago and went winless and are learning a few things. They do have the recent win over Catholic, so it's a team that's got to figure a few of those things out, and slowly but surely they are, and we've seen that they're capable of staying on the floor of this Pine Forest team, if they really take advantage of their opportunities. As for Pine Forest, you lose to Carrion. Well, you're going to make a point on that.
No, go ahead.
Pine Forest loses to Carrion McWilliams right after Christmas, and a leader of that caliber can really kind of gut you emotionally. And they're trying to deal with all of that as well, and seem to be handling that fairly well, although there's probably some growing pains along the way. Halftime here. We'll be back with the second half in a minute on Hill Kelly High School Hoops.
You're watching Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram High School Hoops, presented by Andy Citrin Injury Attorneys.
All right, teams back on the floor, ready for the second half. Pine Forest and Washington. We'll see if the Wildcats can make a bit of a run to get back in this thing, down 12.
Well, Dan, I remember the first quarter. At the end of the quarter, it was 7-4. And in that quarter, Washington, very specifically, I thought, slowed things down. Remember, we kept commenting on how they were moving the ball so well. They got away from that in the second quarter, and athletically, they're just at a big disadvantage here. I think they really, this quarter, need to do what they did in the first quarter, and that's slow it down, move the ball around, and if nothing else, run some clock and get a good shot.
Flaherty kicks that one out to Jalen Bryant, who hits the jumper to start the second half. So the biggest lead of the night for Pine Forest. They lead by 14 here in the first 30 seconds of the second half.
Ooh, that's a near carry for Suarez.
Yep. And then the runner, and then keeping it alive again, Eric Thomas, man. The yeoman's work he's done on the boards.
He's awesome. Big time leader.
Suarez inside draws the foul.
3 for 4 on the night from the line so far for Suarez.
The foul's on Javion Mobley, the 6'8" sophomore. Well, we got 7:08 to go here in the third quarter, so we'll see which lasts longer, the game or my voice.
Oh, are you kidding me?
That's
and that happened earlier on a layup for him. That's
well, that's what happens when you're struggling from the line. He's not particularly, but the team is, and you don't get many of those
There you go.
Yeah.
No doubt about that one. Just keep the rim out of it.
Man, as my dad said, I've never seen a swish come out.
Exactly. Boy, here's to impossible standards.
I'm sure I was whining about getting a bad break on something. I'm convinced. Yeah, I've never seen a swish come out.
That's
Thanks,
good.
Dad.
That's great. That's a great line.
Oh, loose ball, and a foul's going to be on Eric Thomas. You know, here's a guy whose future's in football, and he's out here, and he's just a competitor. And he's playing, you know, he's competing with his teammates. He's making big plays for his teammates. He's hustling. Gets called for that foul. I love that.
Yeah. And I bet what you said earlier is true. You know, carrying some of that momentum from a football team that didn't win a game, did this past year. They were so good, and the boys basketball team in the same predicament. They did not win last year, and it's nice to have a guy like that on the team.
Boy, I tell you, nice job recovering by McManus. Of course, he gets it blocked. And did he draw a foul? Wow.
Yes, he did.
That's, I tell you, because that was a bad pass he had nearly stolen, and then he gets it back, and there he's.
Nah, he drew all that up.
Yeah.
That's how he does it.
Okay. I'm not as creative.
Yeah, no, he's just a very creative guy.
He's got to make a free throw.
0 for 3 on the night.
Come on, Mason.
Gets the
There's the roll.
bounce.
There you go. 29-17, back to 12 points.
10 of their 17 for Washington from the free throw line.
Now Javion Mobley's no, he's not going to go to the line. He fouled before the shot. And that's a foul on the inbound. That's a foul on Marlon Jarvis. Yeah, it's a good hustle.
Yeah, trying to make something happen. And here's Banks, who's been so aggressive all night playing the D here. He's yet to score. He's been all over the court. And there's
Thomas with the steal. I think McManus got a hand on that. But Thomas came back, made a nice play overplaying, coming up with the steal. You know, it just, from what we saw last year, and there's the travel, yep. And
been a rough night for Banks. You know, he's been really close a lot of times. Just can't quite get things to happen.
Yep, shuffled the feet. Took off. But, you know, you just see they're just little elements. It's not, obviously, it's nowhere near the full picture for Washington, but you just see that they're, especially with young players who played as freshmen and took their lumps, and they're still taking some lumps as sophomores, but getting closer. They're, you know, the first step is to get competitive in games and then win a few.
Boy, the rim unkind tonight here. Suarez has to be ready to shoot that. That's 2 times in a row. He caught it down there on the wing, and if he was ready to square up and shoot it, he would have had an open shot. And as you pointed out, he's their most prolific scorer with about 9 points a game.
Nice drive and bank and score.
Or do that. Is that Banks?
No, that was Jarvis. 29-19, it's a 10-point ball game. 5 minutes to go in the third. Joe Turner gets a screen, and his three-pointer is on the way. That's good. Nice shot. Corvellis Bradley. That's one of his, maybe that's his three-pointer for the next week. That's not me talking. That's his coach, Ty McCann, says he'll take a three about every other game.
There you go. Well,
you might as well make it if you're going to take it.
Kind of cool to see it.
Timeout on the floor. We'll take a timeout with them. 4:40 to go in the third, and Pine Forest leads by 13.
You're watching Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram High School Hoops, presented by Andy Citrin Injury Attorneys.
4:40 to play third quarter. Pine Forest with that 13-point lead as Washington trying to sustain some sort of a run here as they look to pick up a big win over one of their rivals.
Pine Forest setting some pressure too.
Inbound to Thomas. Nice job going to the hoop. We can't get it to go. Thomas on the boards. Blocked and then swatted out of bounds. Nice defense, interior defense there by Omarion Turner.
That's really good aggressive movement there from Washington. A couple of very strong plays, but just couldn't finish it.
Back out front they go to Jarvis. And now swinging it to Suarez. He'll launch that three.
Boom.
Whoa.
Feeling it.
So the three-pointer makes it a 10-point ball game once again. 32 to 22. Double team and a foul. A little aggressive on the double team. And it was. A foul was called on Marlon Jarvis. That should be 3 on him, I believe. Into the game for Pine Forest. Here comes Quan Calvert. Remember, he picked up that foul.
Yeah.
A quick foul.
Two,
He got
yeah.
a quick 2 fouls in the first quarter.
And we thought he may play a big role tonight. You know, last night was his first night playing varsity. He led the team with 15 points in the loss. But those 2 fouls were a momentum killer tonight.
Zoe Turner. And the rebound comes off to Banks.
See, I really think Washington is a slowdown. Exactly. That's just not the way to beat them.
Turner. And followed up and in and drawing the foul, Omarion Turner. Zoe Turner with the original miss. And here's Omarion, no relation, follows it in.
You know, Washington, they just can't run up and down the court with Pine Forest. That's not going to work out. Way too athletic is Pine Forest.
They're looking for his 7th point as Omarion Turner, sophomore. You know, and he's done some really good things. Played last year as a freshman. And Ty McCann said...
Oh, that's a try. Took about 5 steps before he decided to do something with it.
But Ty McCann said, you know, he just needs to find some consistency, and it's kind of the, you know, it's a sophomore blues that
Right.
you'll get with guys who are
Yep.
young and still figuring it out.
And that's exactly right. Usually, you're the last one to know that you're still figuring it out. By the time you're a junior and then a senior, you think back and say, boy, I didn't know anything.
Nice jumper. That's a 2-pointer by Quan Calvert, so he comes in and hits that. Yeah, that's the flip side. If you're at Washington State, you know, we're in this ball game. Here's a foul on the turn. Is that... That's a blocking foul called on Omarion Turner. And Ty McCants is up off the bench. He wanted an elbow to the face, so...
So down 14. It's getting a little bit close to do or die time here for Washington.
Yeah, 11 minutes to go in the game. 3:09 here in the third. Nice job by Eldrick Robinson.
Don't pick up your dribble there.
Making himself available, though. Driving baseline, McManus. Too much pressure inside by Omarion Turner. Here comes Pine Forest.
Oh, great save. And yet again.
And that'll be Washington's ball. Great efforts there.
Yep.
First one by Savage. And then over on the sideline by Quan Calvert. I really want to see how Calvert looks, number 32 for Pine Forest. He had such a nice performance against Choctaw last night. His varsity debut.
Quick deuce moments ago.
I want to see what he has to offer. Robinson. Front court. Mason McMahon is handling it out front. That's going to be a little trouble.
It's a great steal.
Turner.
And a great... Oh! Got it.
Going to be...
You know, I thought they might call goaltending.
I thought they might call, basket interference.
Yeah.
Instead, McManus is called for the foul. Let's see where that foul is.
That's a great steal, too. and a strong finish, despite the fact that it didn't go in.
Wow, so Zoe Turner, the initial shot was where the foul occurred. And actually kind of after the shot, but he'll go to the line. Zoe Turner, 55% from the line this year. That looked good.
Yes, it did.
2:27 to play here in the third quarter. Pine Forest trying to even their record at 7-7. Washington looking for their 4th win of the year.
We watched the Pine Forest JV boys win, then the varsity girls, and now the fellas trying to keep it going.
1 for 2, and again, Zoe Turner, who of course is a terrific wide receiver. That athleticism going after the ball. Washington will inbound it.
And Pine Forest is going to continue to apply that full court pressure.
Savage challenging the inbound pass. And
they're going to get the turnover.
Zoe comes up with it and can't get that to go. Suarez ahead to McManus.
Oh, look at the move.
Nice step, nice crossover step,
was.
and McManus gets the basket.
That's a great move from McManus. Kind of a one-on-one situation created there. And a little step was awesome.
He's and slipping and losing the ball, and Washington comes up with it. Robinson picked it up as Bryant fumbled it away.
Now, if he can hit
nobody's
this
gonna
three,
pick up Suarez.
That's big. That's 5 quick points.
And again, Washington gets to 10. And Suarez with the steal. 2-on-1.
He's pulling up.
Going to the line will be Calvert. Thomas went to challenge him and then decided sort of the fake and draws the foul, or commits the foul. Here's the junior, Quan Calvert. Just a full timeout. Okay. Full timeout. We can take one here. All right, we'll stay here instead. I'm being told to stay here. All right, 37-27, Pine Forest by 10. Christian, yeah, here we go. Washington has Navarre tomorrow. Then they travel to Niceville. And then they are scheduled to play in the MLK Classic in Jacksonville over the following weekend. Then they have Escambia and Gulf Breeze after that. Pine Forest upcoming games. They're at Gulf Breeze Tuesday, at Escambia, then at PHS. That's always a beauty. And then Lighthouse Academy comes in here on the 21st. And they're scheduled to go to Florida High, FSU High School, coached by Charlie Ward. That there's a tournament or some sort over there, so we don't know who they're supposed to play. And then at Gainesville.
At
Lighthouse
Gainesville.
Academy. Yeah, the girls and the guys from Pine Forest going to Gainesville, getting a little road work in, prepping for the postseason, I guess. Lighthouse Academy, Eddie Brown, backcourt. He's scoring 39 points a game. He's the 4th leading scorer in the country.
Incredible. 4th leading scorer in the country right here.
2nd in the state for Lighthouse. They'll
39 a game. Woohoo. That sounds fun.
Calvert hits the free throw. Gets them both.
Everything about Calvert continues to look good.
It's R.J. Heelman coming out of the backcourt.
Got to be careful.
And underneath and going to the line will be Thomas as he draws the foul. That foul by Jalen Bryant.
2 shots coming.
There, Thomas. I think it's his first trip to the line, I believe.
Yes, sir. Might want to take a little off the next one.
You know, it's funny. You look at that and you see guys shoot kind of sort of little side look there, and you kind of see the arm extended to the right, and you think, why would anybody shoot that? You know who used to shoot free throws that way was Walt Frazier.
Well, he was pretty good.
The great New York Knicks guard, and the problem was, you know, the guy this is back in the late 60s, foul on Thomas and a three-point chance.
That's a late foul call, but I think a good
Bryant.
one.
Yep. But the problem was he shot him that way, and he was effective. It was it was a bad form, but he would always straighten it up. But man, kids on the playground are imitating Walt Frazier. You created a generation of bad free throw shooters that were imitating.
I'm just glad to know the kids are still watching the greats. That's nice.
Great three-point play.
And 15-point lead. It was down to 10 seemingly 20 seconds ago. Seems like
Final minute of the third quarter.
Every time the Wildcats feel like maybe they've turned the momentum, Pine Forest turns it right back.
Well, they've got one really consistent scoring option, and in the athleticism, McManus can be a nice player, and Thomas can go to the line. Yeah. They've got some guys, and again, granted, they're Byron Gregory leads the team in rebounding, assists, and steals. He's out with the wrist injury. And Reed Robinson, a freshman, a terrific freshman, 6'3" freshman, he's out for 2 to 3 weeks with a wrist injury. So, it's a team that really needs a lot of things to go right. When you have two of those guys who are guys who really play a factor in your team, and they're not in the lineup, you're running.
And they're just, look, they're just outmatched tonight. Pine Forest is just really, really big and quick, very athletic, and it's a significant, obvious difference. The other part of this is with Washington, with their inability to score, a 15-point comeback is really tough.
Final 15 seconds. Robinson, McManus, Thomas go to the line with 4 seconds to go. And again, Eric Thomas pounding the boards, but he has struggled at the line.
He has, but he seems to be in the middle of everything, doesn't he? Got 4 points on the night, none coming from the free throw line. 0 for 4 from the stripe.
And you see Dwayne Lewis in the foreground there by the scoreboard, and that's...
Says it all.
Yeah, that's a coach who's had a lot of success.
Get in there. Oh.
At previous stops, Woodham here at Pine Forest. And it's just, he knew it was going to be a long building project. One of the things you talked about, one of the things you talked about was keeping players in the program, and in this, this day and age where transferring is so simple, so easy, keeping people in the school and, in your school and in the program. And
get the shot off.
That'll end the third quarter. 43-28, Pine Forest by 15 with 8 minutes to go. We will be back.
You wanna try me? You wanna try? You wanna try? You wanna try me? You wanna try me? Well, here it go. You wanna try me? Well, here it go.
Okay, they can't stop what they can't hold. Can't rock where they can't go.
8 minutes of basketball left to play. Washington trailing Pine Forest by 14 as we go into this final quarter. Trying to find some offense somewhere, and they're most effective when they've been a little more deliberate and slowed it down, but they find themselves having to get some points in something of a hurry. So it's a real dilemma for the Wildcats as they look for their 4th win on this season.
Yeah, I think deliberate needed to be the name of the game in the third quarter. Now down 14 with under 8 to go. They're not going to have that luxury.
Well, there you go. And Thomas loses it, and Pine Forest comes out with it. Coming up with the loose ball was Calvert, and that's Purifoy. Ty McCann thinks Purifoy is the best freshman in the city. So certainly one of them, maybe the best freshman in the city to foul inside. The foul's on McManus.
This will be Harris's first trip to the line tonight. He's wanting to pull up
He
now.
really did, and they may need him to.
Yeah.
He's not going to get on. And there's a foul inside, not going to lose. I think it's on Robinson. It is. Eldrick Robinson, number 24. You know, the problem they have is he's missed the last. He missed his last 3, and I think he probably doesn't want to shoot him out of it.
Right.
But frankly, they're in a situation where they're not getting a whole lot of offense in other places.
No, and honestly, he can't shoot them out of it. They're currently out of it. He can shoot them into it, but it's not, I mean, whether they're down 14 or 18 at this point, not going to be that big of a difference. He's their best chance to score.
Calvert back at the line. It's 1 out of 2, so the Eagles 1 for 4 from the line here in the 4th quarter.
Calvert 5 tonight so far, coming off 15 last night.
The Eagles are 5 for 10 from the line here in the second half and 8 for 15 in the game, so they haven't exactly lit it up from the free throw line either.
Great cut.
Nice
great
pass. McManus, though, had a ball swatted back at him by Purifoy.
Yeah, McManus with the backdoor cut there, and I appreciate that it got seen. Wasn't able to finish, but good looking play.
Up off the Washington bench into the ball game, Joshua Bradshaw, number 25. First time we've seen him, I believe, and Joseph Carroll's back in, number 11. McManus comes out. Under 6.5 now, and comfortable 15-point lead for Pine Forest. Jalen Clarity, rebound pulled down nicely. That was Eric Smith with the rebound. Another Wildcats getting a chance to see some action here. On the way is off the mark. Out of bounds to Pine Forest.
I'm surprised that Washington is not pressing. It would be tough for Washington to press Pine Forest because they are so athletic. But you just, you got to try and make something happen at this point. It's a nice save. Ooh.
Foul, hard foul by Eric Smith.
That was a great save by Mobley.
And Clarity will go to the free throw line.
Two shots.
Clarity's hit 70% of his free throws this year.
Okay. That's a good number
He's
there.
a good shooter. I was afraid for a second I'd given him the kiss of death.
That classic. Hasn't missed in 3 months, Clank.
Gets them both.
Now a 17-point lead. Been a big night for if you're an Eagles fan. Everything about tonight is going real well.
Nice job on the offensive board. Following it up and in, that was Eric Smith.
First deuce of the night for Eric. Oh, look at this take.
Purifoy. Boy, I like him.
Yeah, he's looking good. And that looks great. He's got 10 on the night. It's been a great night for the name Purifoy.
It has been.
Oh.
And banking it in. Well, Suarez deserved that. He hadn't gotten a whole lot of rolls tonight.
His 4th 3 of the night, by the way.
Wow. Three-pointer by Robert Ward. (50-33).
Suarez has 16 tonight. Nearly exactly half of his team's output.
Nice drive and gets it to go.
Yeah.
Nice drive by Joseph Carroll.
Yeah, that's a terrific take. They've needed some of that tonight. You know, that's the kind of thing that can open up those threes for a guy like Suarez. Strong takes to the basket like that.
And you know, you said you were surprised Washington wasn't pressing, and it could be, you know, obviously to get back in this game you'd have to do something like that, but it might just be, you know, this at some point you might think, hey, the ball game's lost, let's still work on the things that we need to do well going forward.
I think that's exactly what's happened. They weren't going to worry about winning because that wasn't going to happen. And if their game isn't to press, then why do it when you know it's not going to come through, or at least it's an extreme long shot.
Well, in time of chance, you know, it's been a frustrating year for Pine Forest. A nice shot by Flaherty and a three-point chance. And he was fouled by Marlon Jarvis. Is that 5 on Jarvis? It is. That's 5, so Jarvis fouls out. But for time of chance, frustrating year, you know, they just didn't really, you know, just get things going. Didn't pick up where they left off a year ago with what he tried to do defensively from a pressure standpoint. You know, but there's a month left to get ready for the postseason. And, you know, obviously to get there. And I tell you, he's got these two kids, you know, Ozell Purifoy and Talbert.
Flaherty was too open there. Yeah, you know, you're right. Look forward, not back. And
Purifoy.
He's having a big night.
Yep. Three-pointer for Purifoy.
You got 13 tonight. Yeah, you know, it's all about building and getting hot and getting better. And, you know, you get hot at the right time. Might have traveled, got away with it.
Followed up and in by Ward.
And Ward was pumped about it, too.
20-point lead for Pine Forest with 2:10 to go. So Pine Forest will even their record at 7-7.
Yeah, they've looked good tonight.
Well, you know, there are athletes there. There's some offense there. You have Clarity, who is obviously a weapon, and they've maybe found some other weapons as well. And obviously, when you're that athletic, if you do figure things out defensively, if they figure out and can apply what Ty McCants wants them to do defensively, it's a ball club that still can do some things.
Yep. Another open three. Another opportunity.
Offensive rebound there was by Mobley. And Mobley's going to go to the line. 1:56 in the final 2 minutes of this game. Pine Forest has opened the lead to 20. I was thinking earlier when you're wondering about Washington pressing, I was wondering the value of competitive losses to Washington right now as well. And what you don't want to do is, you know, give them a 20-point run at the finish, and you know, all you do is you pick up the paper tomorrow. People still pick up papers. You know, you turn on your computer and read that, you know,
tweet it up.
You lost. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right. And then, you know, they don't know the story, and it's all of a sudden it must be 31. Nice job there, Mobley knocking them both down. I don't know. And when I said that, I was still thinking it's not over yet.
Well, I'm just trying to.
I think you're. I think there's a lot to what you said about, probably lost cause. Let's instead work on stuff that's going to help us big picture. Oh,
Look at him. Ward hits again.
yeah, he's having a big couple of minutes here.
Yeah, he can shoot it. I mean, he's a pretty good three-point shooter, and obviously can that one.
Who was that?
That was Hero Boy again.
Why ask?
15.
The crowd has definitely dwindled, Dan.
Yeah, well, I think they like their chances at this point.
But man, what a story it would be if they find out tomorrow.
They did what?
You missed a minute 15 for the ages.
Let's take a look at you next week. We are at Milton.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, Milton had gotten off to a 4-0 start, and first time we've seen Pace in a while. Pace and Milton, anytime they get together.
If I'm not mistaken, our buddy Ted King will be there.
Is that right?
He already told me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had that one marked on his calendar for months.
There you go. There's the rest of our high school. Fridays, it's real easy to find us. We're on Fridays the rest of the way. Pace at Milton. Crestview, really, they graduated just the heart and soul of the state championship team from a year ago. So Greg Watson's group really got off to a rough start. But by the middle of the season, he was hoping, hey, we should have made some progress. And they got Choctaw the week after.
And then, man, I'm just pumped for that Gulf Breeze at Catholic game.
You are, yeah.
Friday, January 31st. Going back to my old stomping grounds. I played basketball 4 years at Catholic High School with the great coach Pete Penna, head coach at PSC, of course.
Great win they had on the road to open up Panhandle Conference play at Gulf Coast. Beat them by 23, 93-70, I believe it was.
I think they're really good this year.
Yep. A lot of local talent there. Josh Williams, who played at Choctaw, the point guard last year, number 3 by Ward.
And boy, does his bench love him. Every time he lets go of it, they put their arms up.
And the guys on the...
Look at this take.
Man, everybody's getting him the ball.
I want to be that guy that they all just want you to score all night.
Look at that. Man.
Less than a minute now. Oh, surprised he missed that.
Yep. One out of two. Attaboy Ward. Robert Ward, I think, is
That's a steal.
6 now. Man, Robert Ward's got 40 seconds to get to double digits. 6 or 8 you got. 6,
yeah.
I guess he has. Okay, never mind.
No, I've got him at 9.
Do you?
A couple of threes, a deuce, and a free throw.
Okay.
That's just classic Robert Ward basketball. There's Lambert, 2 for 2 on the night from the line. And he'll keep that going.
All right.
Nice, all of a sudden we've had a couple of guys making free throws. It's good to see. A long night for Washington from the line.
Yep.
Don't get hurt now, fellas.
That's the second ball we've seen in the rafters tonight, the JV game. The buzzer beater went through the rafters at the end of the game.
It nearly went in.
And nearly went in. It was a shot from just inside midcourt. Lost that ball out of bounds. It will stay at that end of the court with 24 seconds to go. Well,
for a team, Pine Forest averaging under 50 a game, they're at 67. That's big output for them.
yep. And a lot of it, of course, obviously is defense turning into offense.
Yeah.
But that was the plan. That's what they did last year. And that was the plan this year, was to 23 seconds to go. We will present the Victor's Trophy to Pine Forest, Ty McCants, after the game on our post-game show.
Aiden Lambert getting it done from the stripe again. 4 for 5 on the night so far. Shot to go 5 for 6 here. And he does.
Got 2 of them.
You got a player of the game in mind, Dan?
Wow.
Should I have not asked? If I put you on the spot?
You did.
My apologies.
Over different
Look at
if that had gone, he would have been it.
He nearly made it easy for you. You know this is good. You know this is good. That's a given. Most popular guy on the team.
He got him to 70 with that from the buzzer. 70-40 is the final. Pine Forest wins it by 30. It was a lot closer than that most of the night. It was 14 points going into the fourth quarter, but Pine Forest pulls away to win it 70-40. 28 points they scored in the fourth quarter.
And remember, that's coming off of 7 in the first quarter. So, yeah, things changed pretty dramatically.
So, I tell you, we'll take some thinking on the player of the game. It was a pretty balanced effort. Amarian Turner did some nice stuff for Pine Forest.
Well, I think given the last quarter, we can't ignore Robert Ward.
Cannot ignore Robert
Made
Ward.
a strong case there all of a sudden. Finishes.
Well, we will sort that out.
Yes, we will.
We will. I think Amarian Turner did some nice stuff for them. So anyway, we'll sort all that out and then present the winner's trophy here on the post-game show from Pine Forest, where the Eagles have completed a doubleheader sweep, 70-40 over Washington. We'll be back in a minute. All right, back here at Pine Forest, where the Eagles have gotten even on the year, 7-7, with a 70-40 win over Washington tonight. And standing here with Ty McCants. And Ty, you've been looking for some things, especially defensively, from your team all year. How much of that did you see tonight?
I saw it a lot tonight, Dan. We got after it. We was aggressive on defense. We kind of fouled early, but went in the second half and told them, hey, play defense with your feet, and they did. They followed the game plan perfect in the second half, and we had a great defensive effort tonight.
You know, you have Purifoy and Calvert come up from the JV to join this team, and both of them added a lot. And actually, Purifoy is our player of the game with 15 tonight, but really doing some really nice things for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Ozell's a special kid. He came up, didn't complain when he got in, did his job, and had a great game tonight. I'm proud of him. He had a great night.
There he is. He's even right on cue. He's there with you. When you're looking at the final month of the season and what we were talking about leading up to this game, about what you're looking for defensively from this team, in what ways do you think it has to manifest itself? What exactly does this team have to do to maybe take that first step to kind of get where you want to be?
Hey, first of all, it's effort. Defense is effort. We got to get an effort on defense. We got to be aggressive. We got to ball pressure, and then we got to depend on each other. We got to help each other out, and we got to get after it. Got to get after it.
All right, I got to ask Ozell a question because Christian Garman and I were asking this. We were wondering what the games were like in the driveway with your cousin, the little mama out there, and what a nice job she did.
Good.
Good game. Who wins?
Pine Forest.
Pine Forest. I think he's right.
Good answer. How much of an adjustment has this been for you coming up to varsity? What's it felt like for you? How tough has it been?
It's good, but I don't know. It's good.
All right. Oh, so I meant a few words, but very, very effective on the court. Congratulations on being player of the game. Well, Christian's got a trophy for you, Coach, and for all the Eagles. There you go.
Coach McCants, hey, you fellas ready for a little bit of hardware? Congratulations. Here we go. That's all you. Nice job.
All righty.
Nice job.
Coach, congratulations for you.
Congrats, Coach. Nice win.
Nice win. All right, congratulations to Ty McCants and the Pine Forest Eagles, 70-40 winners over Washington tonight. Final thought.
Well, it was a great doubleheader, Again, Purifoy getting player of the game here could have very easily gone to his cousin as well in that first game. The Lady Eagles were so impressive. That was really awesome to watch. And then the gentlemen walk away with a 30-point win.
All righty. Next week, Pace and Milton, the great rivalry. We'll see you there on Hill Kelly High School Hoops. For Christian Garment, for all of us here at Channel 3 Sports and WFGX, thanks for joining us. Once again, the final score from Pine Forest 70, Washington 40. Good night, everyone.